Death. It's a pretty powerful narrative tool, and when done right, invokes strong feelings in the audience. It's heartbreaking to watch a character you've grown to love die, and not only does it affect the viewer, but we get to see how death affects other characters too. Death helps to remind us that the world these characters are in have actual stakes. There are consequences to their actions, and it's how these characters act during their final moments that shows who they really are and what they stand for. It's through death that we're able to appreciate these characters even more. But Chainsawman throws all that out the window. So I recently caught up to the Chainsawman manga, and I have to say, I see why a lot of people call it a masterpiece. Tatsuki Fujimoto's writing is a work of art, able to subvert a lot of the tropes we're quite used to today. When I read through it, I'm somehow able to understand what's going on and at the same time not know jack shit. You may think you have a grasp on where the plot is going, but then he pulls something insane out of nowhere, and most of the time, it makes sense. But as I went on feeling all sorts of emotions, there was something I came to realize. Chainsaw Man makes use of death in a way that isn't normal to most anime, or writing in general. People die. Like, a shit ton of people die. Like, you cannot imagine the amount of people that died throughout the span of this series. And with every death, from a main character to a side character, we aren't given the chance to process. We aren't given the chance to grieve. We see their deaths and are expected to move on, or else the series will leave us behind. And this is such a cruel way to treat your characters. Chainsaw Man trivializes death in a way that leaves you empty. Not empty because that character is gone, but empty in a way that you can't even process what's going on. 100 chapters in and I still can't believe some of the characters are dead. Oh, forgot to mention, but there will be spoilers. I'll be focusing on the anime first and will give you a heads up when I get into the manga territory. So yeah, you have been warned. The first real death we have to deal with is Himeno's. It's gut-wrenching because we actually got to spend time with her, getting to know her, her bubbly personality, and her relationship with Aki. She forms an unlikely alliance with Denji, where they promise to help each other win over the people they like. So by associating with the main character, it tricks your brain into thinking she'll get some manner of plot armor, right? She dies only a few episodes later. It hurts even more because she uses the last of her breath to sacrifice herself to try to save Aki, not even getting a chance to leave a body behind to bury. And to make things even worse, it all amounts to nothing. But Himeno is actually the lucky one. She is one of, if not the only character that gets grieved over in some way. After the fight with Katana Man, Dennis and Aki engage in the gentleman's sport of nut busting in honor of Himeno, and even after that, Aki is able to get some kind of closure with her. What this all tells us is to set our expectations for the series that anyone could die at any time, but you think since they're main characters, they'll have some kind of last hurrah to allow us to see them in all their glory. But Fujimoto has other plans. Alright, we'll be going into manga territory now, so anime onlys, I'm sorry but you'll have to turn back. Or you could go binge the manga right now and come back, I'll welcome you with open arms. Cool? Cool. The next major death on the list is that of Aki's. Man, this one really had me in shambles. The thing about Aki's death is that we know he's going to die. From his first contract with the Cursed Devil that reveals to us that he only has 2 years left, and the second being from the Future Devil telling us he's going to die an absolutely horrible death. This is unavoidable. So now you're preparing your mind for how horrible of a death he's going to have, and even then, you just have a tiny bit of hope in you thinking something will change. But then the Future Devil reassures us again that he's going to have a horrible death at the hands of Denji of all people. Future Devil? More like Spoiler Devil. And the way this happens is so wild. There is no big preparation for all this, there is no climactic battle. Aki and Angel just show up wanting to talk to Makima, where she casually reveals herself as the Control Devil. She controls them, and then out of fucking nowhere, the Gun Devil shows up. Not only have we been hit with a lot of rapid fire reveals, but the Gun Devil is quickly approaching Makima. Now, the following sequence is one that really drives how death is treated in this series. The moment the Gun Devil shows up, it starts shooting, killing everyone within 1,000 meters of it, and in this sequence there are no words exchanged. It all happens in the span of 40 seconds or so, and what we do see is the name of every single person the Gun Devil kills in its rampage. And these names flood the page in every panel. There are so much names there that you probably stopped reading them by the second panel and just started skimming through them. This is you getting desensitized from all the death happening. All these people had their own lives, they had their own dreams, whole families were wiped out, but to you, they're just names. Names getting in the way of the action you want to see. That's just crazy, you know. It becomes pointless information to you, and in the midst of it all, in a blink and you'll miss it moment, Aki's name is written right there. I didn't see it on a first read because I was still trying to process it, or maybe my brain didn't want to accept it. And to make things even worse, it doesn't end for our poor Aki. He becomes the gun fiend, attacks Denji and Power, forcing Denji to kill him. Oh god, talking about this again is making me all emotional. Like, I haven't even gotten the time to grieve over my boy. But Fujimoto says, nah man, we ain't done yet. Just as we see Denji coming to terms with the fact that he's actually gone, Makima goes ahead to kill Power right in front of him. It's such a dumbfounding scene that Denji's brain just switches off. And this was 2 chapters after Aki's death. Chainsaw Man does this a lot. Fan favorites like Reese, Beam, the Violence Fiend all bite the dust in the worst possible ways, and we are just left to deal with it without any kind of acknowledgement or closure. That's just brutal, man. This series has given me trust issues, and this nonchalance to death is something that the everyday people in the world of Chainsaw Man have. A devil attacks killing dozens of people, well, that's just a normal Tuesday. And who can really blame them? It's something they've been forced to be accustomed to for the sake of having some semblance of peace of mind, with some characters bonding over the fact that both of their parents were killed by devils. To add an extra layer of the irony, the only people that made it out of the devil hunter job are the ones who didn't seem to take the job all that seriously. Denji and Kobeni, and in a way Kishibe too, since it's a job where you aren't guaranteed to make it to the age of 50. This just spits in the face of Aki's whole mentality that in order to survive being a devil hunter, you need to have some kind of serious reason to be one. It's very anti-shonen, and I guess it's just one of the things that makes Chainsaw Man so good. Its unconventional take on shonen as a whole, and the absurd length the author is willing to take things to get a genuinely good story out there. I literally cannot begin to grasp the idea of where the story is going to go or how it's going to end, but I've more than prepared myself for how it's going to leave me broken. And I can't wait. This has been your very favorite slice of bread. Stay toasty.